characteristics of children with learning disabilities? What are the common characteristics of a possible learning disability that a teacher might see in a student who is in grades K4? When a student is in grades K4, a teacher might identify a learning disability that implies numerous characteristics. For example, LD basics stipulate that a student feels difficulties in learning the connection between letters and sounds and confuses basic words, including eat, run, and want. Furthermore, such a student makes consistent reading and spelling errors, confuses arithmetic signs, and transposes number sequences. When a student has a learning disability in the area of reading, what are the characteristics of each area of reading that are impacted? If a learning disability impacts the areas of reading, their characteristics are under the influence. Firstly, oral reading difficulties include poor reading fluency, word omissions, hesitation, and others. Secondly, reading comprehension deficits imply that students lack skills to understand the meaning of texts. Thirdly, problems with word recognition stipulate that a student has some challenges with identifying words and pronouncing them correctly. Fourthly, poor reading habits imply such characteristics as tension movements, insecurity, lateral head movements, and others. Finally, NASET explains that dyslexia is another reading disorder when a student cannot recognize written words. When a student has a learning disability in the area of math, what are the types and characteristics of those areas impacted? A learning disability in the area of math implies a few types and characteristics. NASET stipulates that math reasoning and math calculations are typical problems for students with learning disabilities. In addition to that, dyscalculia is another area impacted by these disabilities, and it includes such issues as number fact disorder, calculation disorder, mathematical estimation disorder, written symbol system disorder, and others. When a student has a learning disability in the area of written language, what are the types and characteristics of those areas impacted? When it comes to a learning disability in the area of written language, the fields of composition, spelling, and handwriting are impacted. As for composition problems, students cannot express their ideas according to specific grammar rules. Spelling disorders imply that individuals fail to use letters correctly to create words. Furthermore, handwriting problems refer to the student's inability to execute physical movements to produce the graphic marks to compose words, sentences, and texts. List and describe other non-academic characteristics impacted by a learning disability. In addition to that, there are other non-academic characteristics impacted by a learning disability, and they include memory deficits, cognition deficits, social-emotional problems, and others. Memory deficits represent severe difficulties in remembering various kinds of information. Cognition deficits imply numerous characteristics, including making poor decisions, requiring concrete demonstrations, and others. Finally, social-emotional problems refer to misinterpreting the feelings of others, ignoring the effect on others, and misreading social cues, and others.